Okay, so welcome to this round 2 8-bit no outbounds race between Vascos and TwoCplus. So if you watched any of the first round, you'll probably notice that the text boxes are going a lot faster now. The developers actually put in an update that allowed us to skip these text boxes. So instead of being a mash fest, this is basically who can get the most optimized short platforming run. So you'll notice they're using this double jump technique, attacking these lanterns in the air or enemies, or later in the game with an upgrade, attacking enemy projectiles will give them a jump recharge. So they'll be able to use a double jump. You can see the cloud underneath their foot. It's called a cloud step. Tunisher is there, both players getting their scroll. Okay, now we're going into Autumn Hills, the first proper level of the game. This is all about optimizing platforming. So you'll notice that the runners aren't attacking these green guys. You actually take a slowdown when you attack the green guys. And both runners hitting their 40 time shards. So the time shards are the currency in this game, and you need 40 to get the Strike of the Ninja, which is the first upgrade we'll be using. Also, the freebie upgrade that we get is the Climbing Claws, which allows you to scale vertical walls. So 2C successfully using the damage boost there. Vascos just hitting the wrong part of the spike there. So the hitbox, the area of the hitbox that you hit, actually determines which direction you will move in when you take damage. Shoutouts to the audio direction in this game. You go underwater and there's a high pass filter, which makes it sound like you're underwater. Absolutely amazing. Shoutouts to Rainbow Dragon Eyes, the composer of the music in this game, which is spectacular. So both runners will be taking this health. It just allows them to do a second damage boost. TwoC opting to go over the spikes, which is a slightly faster technique. Vascos going through the water. Vascos unfortunately dropping there. Having to go back. 2C showing off some nice platforming there. It's quite a commonly used technique in that climb. So this level really is all about getting that optimized platforming. And Vascos again using that that fast climb technique. So 2C back in the shop, buying 2 upgrades. One is the second wind, which allows you to recover your fall in the air, and the other is the shuriken, which is massively important on this fight. It allows us to optimize damage and, in theory, one cycle of Leaf Golem. So we'll see how that goes. Vascos just buying the upgrade as well. Yeah, 2C doing that with no significant issues. It's basically a case of unload all of the damage that you've got into the golem. And Vascos again, no issues there. So this is blink and you'll miss it, full on temple. We don't see it in the 8-bit run. And moving straight into catacombs. So this is the only Phobekin that we're going to see. And that's the entire conversation. So the platforming in this area is a lot tighter, it's a lot more difficult. We've got crushers, we've got a lot more moving platforms. And a lot more spikes. So the runners will be a lot more concerned with their cycles in this level. And their 2C, just at the first encounter with Ruxton, the boss of this area. Ruxton just summons a bunch of bad guys, which you have to clear to escape the room. So the room's locked off. Interesting, this is the only place in the game that has that feature. Vascos just missing that early cycle there. Yeah, so just to clarify, this is no OOB, not noob. It's the no out of bounds. There is an out of bounds skip that's used in the any percent run. This run relies a lot more on the platforming ability of the runners. TwoC's struggling a little bit with the Wizrobes there. Giving Vascos a little bit of time to catch up. Vascos with much better RNG in that room. I didn't see, but it looks like 2C took the damage boost there. And Vascos taking the damage boost as well. 2C whiffing a couple of hits on that climb as well. Vascos' climb was much cleaner. but it looks like he's not getting the early cycle in this Crusher Room. And 2C entering the Ruxtin fight. So what we're looking for here is the favourable RNG of the top spawn. So we want to see Ruxtin at the top using his Acid Rain attack. So Vascos getting the favourable RNG there, but not using it to its fullest extent. He should have a faster fight though. Vascos burned all his shuriken to try and maximise his damage output, which cost him time later in the fight. So now we see the runners entering Bamboo Creek. This is some of the most technical platforming in the game. Got some nice wide open platforms and a lot of things going on the screen at once. It can be hard to keep track of, but it does give the runners a lot of things to retrieve their cloud step on. A lot of opportunities for some interesting platforming. Like that minor skip that 2C just executed. TwoC going out of bounds in the no out of bounds category. That has been deemed to be allowed, as there is no player clip to stop the player going out of bounds there. It's technically not out of bounds. In other words, if the developers didn't want you going there, they'd have put something there to stop you. Speaking of the developers, I'd like to give a massive shout out to Sabotage, who are possibly the most involved developers that I've ever seen in terms of speedrunning. They have a really good relationship in terms of the speedrunning community. We we chat with them on a personal basis. They've included patches within the game specifically for the sake of speedrunning, and they've basically said to us that they will not patch out a glitch if it doesn't affect any casual play. So 2C entering Howling Grotto now. Some of the coolest music in the game. So he's looking for and gets 270 time shards before entering this shop. So here we are gifted the wingsuit and buy the Currents Master and Aerobatics upgrades. The Currents Master you'll see used once, and the Aerobatics upgrade you will see constantly. So both runners on point with their time shard count, and 2C just showing off. Barely touching his wingsuit and gaining some more time shards on the way. So this is another tight platforming area. It's a bit less cycle-based than Catacombs, but it is all very tight platforming, very enclosed. It's nice the variance of different levels, how the platforming changes. Goes to show that you can have a game that's massive and wide and varied. So TC using the intended shortcut there. There is a longer way around that room, but if you notice the breakable block, it is a little faster. So 2C entering the Emerald Golem fight. So looking for 7 hits on core and then a shuriken from the edge, allowing maximum damage on the second part of the first cycle. Beautiful first phase from 2C, just as Vascos enters the fight. And a very fast phase too. That was a beautiful fight. Vascos suffering very little difficulty on that first cycle as well. Slightly slower phase 2, but still an admirable fight. So 2C has started Quarter and Marsh. More open platforming. Very nice stylistically as well. So here you really get to see that wingsuit and the aerobatics come into their own. Big open spaces to glide over. And the gliding is slower than straight jumping. So 2C with a very clean Caution Marsh. Entering the Queen of Quills fight. That was a very nice fight. So you see that little green thing that appeared there is a demon called Quilbull. If you die, there is a longer cutscene. But thankfully neither runner has died up to that point, so we won't be seeing that longer cutscene. So 2C grabbing the rope dart, which is not a hook shot, it's a rope dart. That allows you to grab walls, lanterns, and enemies, as well as the rings that have been placed there for this purpose. From this point, the platforming gets a little more hectic. And 2C always mocks me for saying that this is actually my favourite level. Vascos picking up his rope darts at the same time. So you see approaching the boss fight now. So here we have Collis and Susses, or Leg Day and Arm Day. So Collis you can only hit from the front, and Susses you can only hit from the back. Now you can see here the abuse of the limited invincibility that you get from using the rope darts. We may see some more of this technique used on the final boss of this run. But a pretty clean fight there from 2C, as Vascos just approaches the fight. And 2C entering Glacial Peak. Definitely the most technical platforming area. And the biggest cost for mistakes as well. Vascos getting some unfavourable RNG on the fight there, but finishing up with no major issues. So you'll start seeing some green blobs appearing when enemies or lanterns are hit. These are single point health recharges. So this was an upgrade that was bought in the last shop visit. It's not necessarily sort of required, but it can be useful. Fairly clean peaks there from 2C. So now it's cutscene time. And 2C enters the Tower of Time, which is the final level of this run. So it's essentially a puzzle platforming though, where the focus is much more on platforming than it is on puzzles. TwoC dispatching that Wizrobe just to clear the way. The Wizrobes are probably the most dangerous thing in this entire level, because they're the only real RNG. So both runners are on the final level now. It would be surprising to see anything over a 40 minutes, definitely. And 2C taking the damage boost there. Quite risky. But he knows what he's doing. TwoC just ending the time waster room there. Some epic but simple platforming while being chased by lasers. And yes, now it's time to do the thing. One of the things. So TwoC on the final boss fight of the run. The Arcane Golem. So here's some more of that rope dart iframe abuse. Apologies, my throat is a little rough today. And that's GG. Vascos just a couple of minutes behind. That looks like TwoC is going to be joining us in a moment. So it looks like Vascos is using that. Oh, no, Vascos is using the old technique, which is to float just out of reach of the laser balls. It's a little bit safer, but a little bit slower. That's GG Vascos. Hey, TwoC, GG. Your mic is muted, by the way. Ah, there you are.
Yeah. Hello. Thanks for the GGs.
There was some very clean platforming in that run.
Yeah, it was really solid. Catacombs was really rough. Yeah, the rest was really good though. I'm happy about this run.
Yeah, it was a good run. I believe 10 seconds outside your PB.
Yes, 10 seconds away from PB. I got some nice golds as well. That was nice.
Hey, Vascos, GG.
Hey, GG, TwoC.
GG, Vascos. What's your PB, Vascos?
What did you say? I was like +10 on my PB.
+10. Oh, nice. I heard you got a nice PB right before the race, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you had a good run, I guess.
Yeah, I had a good run and I threw it at Golem.
I see. Nice.
It's easy to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well, I think with that, we'll call that done for now. There will be another race in 25 minutes. I believe that's going to be on Speed Gaming 6. So I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Thanks to the runners. And hopefully we'll catch you at that other race. Take care, everyone.
Yep. See you.
Right.